Hey, hello, hello. Welcome again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad that you are here. We're at a different spot. Do you like where we're at? On the fifth night of the Black Man Made Well. And I am still your host, Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist, coming to you live and in living color. We're in Southern California where the sun is always shining. Have you had a week this week? I hope you're here. Listen, it's still not too late to invite people in the room. Let them know we are here because we have an amazing night lined up for you tonight, and we are so excited. So let me throw this out there real quick. Tonight, we're going to pivot just a little bit, and we're going to focus on the Black man business and finances. And what we're going to do is bring to you in a quarter from now, in another 3 months, the Black man system involved Black man, because we want to make sure we give proper justice and time to that. And the response has been, please give us a single night that we can focus on that. We heard it. We're going to follow through with that. So tonight, we have a lineup for you that we just can't wait for you to see. So tonight is all about the struggles that we as Black men have in this world to maintain, to grow, and develop businesses. Because I don't know about you, but a lot of times we have, and he's here with us tonight live too, none other than Dr. Robert Brown was there on Friday night. Monday night rather. Tonight's Friday. He was there on Monday. We had Dr. Tristan Webster. We had Dr. Jackie Smith, and we had Dr. Danielle Hill. Them brothers is so cold. Can I tell you that? They is so cold that they laid it down and talked about the stigmas. You got to go back and check that out because it was off the chain. Then on Tuesday night, we said from yelling to yoga. And he's live here with us tonight as well, none other than that yoga dude, James Wood. And that brother is cold. Let me tell you something. He went into to the youth center with us in San Bernardino as well. He's here with us tonight. Listen, if you have not changed your mind about how yoga is so important and well to the mind, body, and spirit, you need to go back and check out Tuesday night. Then we had that yoga king, none other than R.J. Curtis, and the guru, the GOAT himself, Dre Gardner, and he flew in from Las Vegas to be with us on Tuesday night. Y'all, listen, I appreciate all the DMs. I appreciate the text messages and the emails from the brothers saying, you know what, thank you for giving us a different perspective about yoga. And y'all, we was in, John Henry and I, we was on the ground. We was in our Nike shorts. He had Lululemon. I just had some Nike and everything. You know, I'm trying to get to that protocol where I can afford me some Lululemon. Come on. We need a sponsorship. Lululemon, come on, sponsor us next time. Someone get a hold of the Lululemon CEO so they can sponsor us for Black Men Made Well 2023. And then on Wednesday night, panel, again, off the chain, talking about Black men, mental health, and self-care. We had Mr. Yolo from Beam Organization, and he was off the chain. We had also licensed clinical social worker I done lost it. That Stevon Lewis. Yes, he was there with us. We had my man, none other than James Bush from Nashville, Tennessee, and my man that Dr. Scott called the Pink Panther, Pernell Bush. And them brothers came and brought us and shared with us the importance of self-care. Last night on family and fatherhood. Listen, Thomas Ship came with us, and y'all bought the cookies. Thank you for supporting black male businesses. He shared with us the orders were coming in for cookies, and they're going to be shipped out. If you have not ordered his cookies or had his cookies, you need to go get them because they is off the chain. With that, we also had my brother Elam, who was with Alan Elam, who was with us, and then Jerron Clark, therapist, and Dr. Ed Rice. Now tonight, since I'm in church, I want to say it this way. Touch your neighbor and say tonight. Touch your neighbor and say tonight. Tonight. I wish I had my musicians here. We go ahead and do praise and worship, but since we don't, we're going to do Black Man Made Well, that version of that. I need a theme song or something. I done got churchy, got a mic. I don't know how to act. But we're so glad to have with us. Listen, Dr. Robert Brown is here to share with us in his journey from in the book that he wrote, Joker to King. Now, I need y'all to come on down here because he's here to sign these books. You still got time. We know the party don't start, but this party has started. We're going to jump hard. You need to come on in and get your books and your copies of Joker to King tonight. He's here. We have none other than Justin Jerry from Self-Made. He's here. He's telling us how to better ourselves and the journey of that, of being. We have black entrepreneurs here to share with us tonight. And I'm going to do a shameful and not shameless, a shameless plug. We have T-shirts here tonight, too, of the Black Man Made Well T-shirts. We have those here. But if not, you can check them out on our website at mentalhealthmarty.com, and you can order your Black Man Made Well T-shirt. It's Valentine's Day. We ain't gonna get them to you by Valentine's Day unless you come here to Eastvale. But if not, you just take a copy of the receipt that you ordered it and put it in a card, and a black man would love to have it for Valentine's Day. Yes, sir. I'll still be here next Friday, same time, same bat channel, and with that. But we are so glad to have my mentor who's taught me all about business. Now, he didn't believe I actually had a viable business when we first met, but that's a whole nother story. He vetted me and was like, oh, you really do have a business. But that's a whole nother story, y'all. But so glad that setting it up. This young man has been on 6 of the 7 continents doing executive coaching all across the world except Antarctica. Do they even have business in Antarctica? Never been. Who knows? If I make it, God bless you in that regards. But he is the real deal. Can I say that? He is the real deal. And his dream and vision has been to make black business owners and black men business owners millionaires. And he is dropping some nuggets. And so we are glad to have with us. He's been my co-host all this week, but he's my brother from another mother, none other than John Henry Scott III. Come on, let's hear from him. John Henry Scott. Let's go.
All right. Hey, fellas, good evening, everybody. Those of you all that are joining us virtually, and for the brothers that's in the house, it's going to be a good night. So I want to take a quick moment and introduce myself. My name's John Henry Scott III, and I founded a company last year entitled Chart to Heart Incorporated. And what we do at Chart to Heart is we provide executive coaching, but we also partner with companies from a strategy development and a strategy execution standpoint. We also will work with you in terms of culture and engagement and team building. And occasionally, I will do one-on-one coaching with entrepreneurs and with business owners and even some corporate professionals that are navigating through the corporate ranks. I don't do so much of that, but that is an arm of our business. The reason why I bring that up is because the journey to get there is pretty significant. So I've spent probably the last 20 years navigating through the corporate ranks. So my professional portfolio is pretty diverse. I've worked for defense companies. I've worked for service companies. I've worked most recently in technology. I've led a civil engineering group, so I've got a pretty diverse background. So anything from working in a gym and the hospitality and handing out towels and doing laundry up into designing biometric technologies that opens up your phone. And as you drive anywhere, we will capture you and catch you. So the reason why that's important is because I've had an opportunity to not only do that in the United States, but I've done that on 6 of the 7 continents. Last time I counted, it was over about 50 or 60 countries. And what that does is that gives me a global perspective to how we do business on a global scale. It was in June 2019. I was leaving Singapore, and at that moment, I knew that there would be a shift to come. And the shift was that I knew that I had this incredible opportunity to have navigated to very high executive ranks in global firms, but I also knew that I would have the opportunity to go back and help my community. And so similar to what Marty said is that I know that there are many, many brilliant ideas. There are many, many companies that are doing very well. However, we often lack access. And the reason why we lack access is because we often don't have the means to be able to go and afford them. So we can't afford the big boxes like the McKinseys or the Accentures or some of the bigger consulting firms. But, you know, there is a chart to heart. Now, I'm not saying chart to heart is cheap, but I am saying that we are accessible because we're often driven by a cause to make sure that we're able to close the wealth gap within the Black and African American community. So I want to share some statistics with you, and then I'm going to talk about a couple things. As of 2001, there were an estimated roughly 135,000 Black-owned businesses in the U.S. 135,000 Black-owned businesses. Of those 135,000 of them, over 60% were owned by Black women. And so because we're talking about the Black man made well, there is a massive gap in Black male business owners and entrepreneurs. The reason why that matters is because if in fact we are ever going to be able to close the wealth gap, closing the wealth gap means that we have got to have ownership, not only in just a house, but also in businesses. So that's one angle. If you go in and you take a look at the statistics of Black male executives at the C-suite levels, it is less than 1%. Less than 1%. And so the work that I do is I'm trying to shift and change those metrics. Is I want to be able to work with Black men who have ideas and to help you turn your ideas into revenue generating businesses that are sustainable, irregardless of the market that you play in. What I've discovered is that there are certain business principles that you can apply transversally across any spectrum. There are certain things you just need to know. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we may spend some time when we get to the panel portion of our session tonight, where we will even talk about, say, you don't want to be an entrepreneur because entrepreneurship ain't for everybody. But perhaps you want to be a part of a team. Perhaps you have aspirations to just grow and become an executive or a VP or a CEO in a Fortune 1000 company. I can help you with that as well. All right? So first, let me talk about what I know to be true. I mentioned earlier that I've spent some time around the globe, and there's a couple things that I've learned, and I picked out 5 of them that I want to bring to this setting and to our brothers who are tuning in virtually, and I know some sisters also tuning in. I want you to get a notepad because I think that you'll benefit from this as well. Here's the first thing that I know to be true that I want to offer for consideration is that our brand, that means who we are, and our business is what people will pay us for. That's the key. I think it's very important for us to understand. If people ain't willing to pay for it, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. Wow. And hobbies, you can't eat off a hobby. You can't pay mortgages off of a hobby. right? And so it's very important that we are clear in terms of what a business is. A business is something that people are willing to pay for. And so what I've discovered is that sometimes there's this massive chasm between the brand and the business. And often what that does is it makes it very difficult for whatever your offering is to become sticky, right? So the first thing that I've discovered is that your brand and your business should complement one another, right? That's the first thing to think about. I'm not going to be able to go deep as I would like to, but you can go to my website and you can send me an email, and then I can work with you on that, all right? All right, so that's the first thing, is that our brand and our business should complement one another, and our business is what people are willing to pay us for. Don't start a business if you like to eat cookies, but you can't make cookies, right? Don't start a business if you like working out, but you don't have the fundamentals of training people. You see what I'm saying? Don't start a business saying that you're getting ready to be a rapper and your vocabulary is rudimentary. You see? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So that's number one. Number two is that problems need solutions and opportunities need strategy. What's a problem? A problem is something that people have been trying to solve that they hadn't figured it out yet. But you can. People will pay for solutions. Opportunities need strategy. That means that I can look at a market and the market already exists. But I realize that there's something that I can bring to that market that other people cannot bring to that market. So there's a lot of gems out there. But what do you do differently? I can bring my swag. I can bring a transversal. I saw your facility on camera, right? So not only can you just come, it can be in your business model. Just yesterday I was talking to a young man, and the young man said, I want to be a car salesman. I said, okay, well, that's good. I said, but let me help you make it better. And so what I offered for consideration is perhaps you're not just a car salesman, but you open up Joe Blow's Car Salesman Institute, by which you now come in and you create two different business lines. The first business line is your luxury car salesman business line. The second business line is your mid-tier car salesman business line. You go in and you recruit, you train, and you certify them, and you build a reputation around your model. And then you take your model and you subcontract them out to different car dealerships. So then now you got credibility around your institute, and now people are paying you in order to use your talent and your resource, and you get a percentage of whatever car is sold. That's a smarter way. You just opened up a car. So if you steal my idea, I'm going to sue you because this on YouTube. But that's the key, right? I'm a strategist. I'm going to listen to what it is that you say do, and I'm going to hear the opportunity, and we're going to come up with a strategy. The opportunity is that car salesmen already exist. How can we do it differently? And in a market that is crowded, and it is already difficult for us as black men to get into those markets, we have got to be able to find a different flavor and bring something unique, those clear differentiators that we can do that nobody else can do. And if we slow down and we think about it, you know, we're quite brilliant, and that's been proven. And problems, just go solve a problem. People will pay you to solve a problem. What does that look like? Grass needs to be cut. That's a problem. Right. Open you a grass cutting business. And then when you do with your grass cutting business, you just go believe a little plant or a flower or something. Or you put in an envelope a tip on how you can keep your grass green until the next thing. Those small little differentiators. You solved the problem, but you still created something to make people remember you by, and they will pay you for that. It's a whole lot of consultants out there, but can't nobody consult like me. Right. That's the key. All right? So here's the third thing that I know to be true, is that you build what you're building based on what you are excellent at, and you keep developing. Talked a little bit about that, right? If you're not excellent at it, then you probably shouldn't go into business at that. That's just the reality. I see so many times people go in and you trying to open a therapist business, but you don't like people. That don't work. You see what I'm saying? You getting ready to open up a gym and you haven't been to one in a while. You know what I'm saying? So you should do what it is that you are excellent at. With excellence comes a degree of confidence. And confidence matters when you are selling and when you are telling your story. People will believe you irregardless of what you look like. Here's an example. When I was traveling around the world, I reached a certain level in my corporate career where I started growing my hair out and I had long locks. And people didn't know what to do with me. But I was excellent at what I did. So I walked in there with my locks hanging and swinging. You understand what I'm saying? And went right in there and killed the game. So much so that the CEO said, "Oh, Jean, I was in Paris. Oh, Jean, this is wonderful. You must go here." And from that moment, created a global executive role in a firm that never existed before. And I was going around the world with long locks, looking different than what the prototype looks like. But the key is I was excellent at what I do. And so you build your business based upon that. You take that, you be excellent long enough, you commit to continually developing your craft and your skill so that you don't have to be your own marketing agent. Your results will speak for itself. How do results speak for itself? Is other people will start talking. That's the key. All right? So here's the fourth thing that I know for sure is that you can become so well versed in your story, both personal and business, that the right people want to hear it. Your story should be so interesting that people want to know you, and your story will draw them to the business. So being able to align that, the world functions off of stories. Good music is made of a good story. Good movies are made of a good story. So our ability to understand the story of our strategy, the story of our business, the story of our product, the story of our offering, the story of the service that we render is absolutely critical, and you must be well versed in that. That means that if I'm in an elevator and I got Dr. Brown with me for 45 seconds from floor 1 to floor 20, you need to get off at floor 20 interested in me. You want to be able to know more. I'm not getting ready to pitch you and ask for no money. I'm just going to get you so curious that you want to drink coffee with me. That's the key. That's the key. And I think oftentimes what happens is that we don't spend enough time becoming versed in our story so that it is so clear that we can tell it to anybody, that it sparks curiosity. We're not trying to solve the problem right now, but I want to make you curious enough. And I believe that we must take the time to slow down and build enough curiosity around that. So become so well versed in your story, both personal and your business, that the right people want in. You don't need everybody. You need the right people. That's the key. I don't go talk to everybody because I already know I'm not your person. That's just the bottom line. I already know I can't help you. I know you're interested in the story, but I know I'm not your person. So it's being able to know your story so well. Sometimes you'll be shocked. You know, you'll be looking at people and you don't think they're your person. But you'll be shocked. But I knew my story so well that when I heard his story, I realized that there was alignment, and then now we making magic. 50 million by December 23. Come on. I ain't going to tell them where we started. But that's a significant increase. Oh, yes. Yes. Start to heart. That's what we do. Number 5, here's what I know to be true, is that you must authentically, watch this, you must authentically and decently digitize your business or risk disintegrating. I heard Usher say this with an interview with Oprah several years ago. He said, I just figured I got to evolve or I'm going to dissolve. And so if we are not willing to be agile, if we're not willing to be flexible in terms of how we get our offerings, COVID hit. Businesses that were able to pivot and take their offerings virtual. In many cases, there's statistics by the Census, U.S. Census Bureau, 38% more businesses within the African American community as a result of the pandemic. And this ain't fraud PPP. Come on. Come on. This is legitimate businesses. And of those 38%, over 90% are virtual. So the ability to digitize matters. Digitize matters. And so I think that should be authentic, right? And so what I really mean by that is avoiding this imposter syndrome, right? Meaning I'm going to do it exactly like somebody else does it. And the reality is the majority of influencers, the majority of folks who are digitizing don't look like us. That's just the reality. However, something good came out of 2020 is that black is in. That's what I'll say. People are interested. And so if you are ready, you can capitalize on the interest that people have in black. That's just the reality. I don't know how else to say it. Right? And so if you're ready, the key is to be ready. And so digitization does matter. There's over 7 billion people on earth, and your audience is waiting for you. You probably never go get on the plane and go to the places that I've gone, and you don't have to because you can get there from here. So it's just a paradigm shift. You have little excuse because opportunities do exist there. And I know that was strong, but you really have little excuse. You can do something. All right, so that's what I know to be true. What I want to do now is I'm going to give you real quick a performance execution methodology that I built and I created. It's called DREAM. I like to say a dream unattended becomes a nightmare. Can somebody put that in the comment? A dream unattended becomes a nightmare. Give me my credit, John Henry Scott III. And the reality is that many people are frustrated with their dream. They're dying with their dream. They're getting angry because their dream is still kicking, but they're not seeing it come alive. It's never birthed out. We've been in the second trimester for 20 years. We've been waiting. You've been dreaming for so long. And what I'm offering for consideration is that there's a methodology by which your dreams can surprise you. Here it is. Number first is you've got to decide. I like to challenge people, and I work with people. I did this even with your team. I say, hey, what's the success headline? If you're being interviewed by a major news outlet this time next year, what's the headline that you want written? So we start with that headline, and then we start building our strategy to get to that headline. I can't do it tonight, but I'm going to come back, and maybe I'll do a pop-up here, and I'll invite you on how to do that. Why does that matter? Because it is often said that if you aim for nothing, you go hit it bullseye every time. So your success headline becomes your mantra for the moment. And moments do matter. It becomes this right here. That's why I keep saying 23 million by December 2023. No, 50 million. 100 million. I done changed 100 million by December 2023. And it should shock you. It should be so big. There's one self-made. You can do self-made Orange County. I already see it. Self-made LA County. Self-made San Diego. Why not? So what's the success headline? Make sure everybody, watch this, who matters knows that. The challenge is we tell chickens what only eagles can handle. And chickens are filled with unbelief, not doubt. Because unbelief says that I ain't gonna believe no matter what. But doubt says I just need more evidence. Doubting Thomas, I'm in the wrong place. I knew it was gonna come out. I knew it was gonna come out. Doubting Thomas just needed to see the nail print. But unbelief is dangerous. So I can deal with doubt because I'm going to help you to understand, and your doubt is going to push me to make sure that my headline is very clear, and we're going to do what we've got to do to get there. All right, so number one, you've got to decide. You've got to be very clear on what you want success to look like. The second part is you want to review. Take a look at what you're at. Be honest. Don't be lying. You ain't got to lie to kick it. You know, be honest. An honest baseline of the current state of performance. Where are you right now? This is one of the things that I work with clients. Where are you right now? That baseline is important because as we continue to build our business, as we continue to move forward, we want to be able to track our measurable success, right? So KPIs, key performance indicators, matter. Being able to make sure that I've got the appropriate key results, they certainly do matter. Getting everyone galvanized around that, tying everything that we do back to our key results matters, very much so, all right? So review, be honest with where you are. The third one is you want to explore. I like to say WTF. I said it in the church, but I know their minds ain't being renewed, so I'll clarify what that means. WTF means what's the future? Look at the carnality of it all. What the carnality of it all. WTF means what's the future? What do you want to accomplish? What does the future look like? Imagine what that looks like. I don't care if you do a Hoshin Conrad planning session. I don't care if it's a 2-day Kaizen event. I get executives in the room all the time. I did it there. You can reach out to charttoheart.com, and I'll come work with you. I'll come and help you figure out what's the future. Based upon your baseline, based upon what you're good at, some of the things that you think you're good at, nobody wants to pay for. So I mean, you can't bank on just because I'm good at it. You see what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to pay for that. So we've got to be clear on what the future is, where we're going. Let's explore what that looks like, and then we go in and we break it down, okay? When we go do this, let's put this in place. Sometimes clients get frustrated with me because I expose them that you don't believe it. You're trying to sell something you don't believe. That's the reason why our results look the way they look. I thought you was going to do that last week. Well, I had pushed it off. Well, when you go do it? So when you do it, then you call me. But in the meanwhile, we got this contract, so I'm going to invoice you. But when you're ready, I'm here. So being able to be very clear in keeping ourselves honest matters. How are we going to do it? Let's figure that out. Who's going to do what? As we look at our organization, as we look at it, if it's just me, who I need to have coffee with, who I need to learn from, who I need to share with, who are the eagles, who are the chickens. Being able to identify who matters. And then number 5, within that explore, why. Why is extremely important because your why is going to keep you going. That's the purpose. That's why you do what it is that you do. The next step in this dream model is to act. Now do something, right? Strategize, execute, assess, adjust, and repeat. Strategize, execute, assess, adjust, repeat. Get your strategy together. Execute, do it. Assess it, take a bit look back. And what I encourage people to do is don't wait until you finish to assess, right? Do some incremental milestone assessments. Take a look, push pause. All right, let me see why did this happen, right? And I encourage folks, oftentimes people do it if something goes wrong. Then we want to go in and do a root cause analysis. I think it is much more proactive to look at why it happened right. Let's sit down, let's galvanize our team and say, okay, this worked very well. Let's understand why this worked very well. So then we can take that, and then now we can leverage it, and we can scale it, and we can build on that as well. All right? And so then the last step in this methodology is to market. Market. What's the story? Who needs to hear it? Now tell it in different ways. That's the key. So if you reach out to me, I'll walk you through this. We can develop a whole tailored plan, and it's pretty powerful. And then lastly, let's talk about some money real quick, because I want to bring the panel up, and I want to engage with folks and ask questions and do all that stuff. High level financial management, I'm going to do this in 3 minutes, is number one, you need a strategy. You need a financial strategy that aligns with your business strategy. And I know a lot of times we don't know really how to develop that, but there are companies out there that can help you do that. Take a look at your business strategy, and then what is it going to take in order to get there? You build your key results. You build your revenue targets around that. You build your profit targets around that. You understand what your operational expenses look like. Being able to have a very clear financial strategy is absolutely critical. Otherwise, we will be operating a business, and we will be deceived into thinking that we're doing well because we feel good. Right. But you giving away free business. And your children and wife and partner, you go feel it. One of the things that was pretty heartbreaking in the pandemic is that a lot of folks were lacking a financial strategy, because a financial strategy could have prevented some businesses, black businesses, from closing. And so being able to develop a financial strategy that aligns with your business strategy and holding it with open, loose hands so that you can pivot as appropriate is extremely important. The second thing in financial management is avoid unnecessary debt. Avoid unnecessary debt. Find funding. And unnecessary debt is like, listen, now you don't need everything right away. Right. You know, we're very creative people. You don't got to have the best right now. You want quality, but it don't got to be top of the line. I see so many businesses go in and they do too much too soon. Yes. They really don't like when I go and say, y'all got too many people. You got too many people. You got too many people. I sat down with somebody, I said, I need you to get rid of 2 positions. They said, oh, and the reality is you can do without them. Right? And so avoiding debt, making sure that we are not doing the most. The second thing, especially for black folks, is to find the funding and keep your expenses low. And I hear people say, well, it's hard to find funding. VCs, less than 1% in the technology space of venture capitalist funds go to black folks in technology, less than 1%. So here's what I think we have an opportunity to do. Let's take our extra money, let's put it together, and let's create our own venture capitalist funds so that we can go in and we can vet black businesses, and we now become the VCs. You understand what I'm saying? I started, this is a quick story. I tried to open up Justin a check advance company, but my wife wouldn't let me. I was going to say, you come to me, get the money. Now, I charge a 100% interest rate every 2 weeks unless you can pay it back. Oh, yes, because I got good financial management. So I'm trying to open up a business, you understand? But the point was, I now can use this capital, so capitalist, you can tell where I fall, right? I can now use this capital to invest in my community. So James, you come up, you want to go and you want to get a new yoga studio. You see what I'm saying? Because you want to do different types. You sell me your vision. I believe in your vision. You don't got to go to Wells Fargo or Chase. You come to Scott Financial Solutions, and I got $50,000 for you, and I got better terms than Chase. You see what I'm saying? If we can do that, I think that's powerful. So anyway, let's find the funding and let's create funding opportunities. I think that is absolutely critical. And then keep your operating expenses low. Turn them lights off, all the lights on. Turn these lights off. Why you got all these lights on, fans? Turn the AC off. You see what I'm saying? Keep your operating expenses low. Go to the Costco or the Sam's Club. You understand what I'm saying? You take that wrapper off the, let me show you how to keep your expenses low. See, as simple as this. Everybody going and trying to get the water because of a label that costs $3 a bottle, and you gonna mark it up to $4. I'm gonna show you how to do something. Go to the People's Costco. Get you some water. Take the label off. Print you some labels with your branding on it. Watch me now. Watch me now. Tap that thing on it and charge $5. Oh, y'all don't believe me? People will pay for that. It came out to about 20 cents. That is a $4.80 profit on every bottle. I'm trying to tell you how to get rich. All right. Y'all don't want no money. Number 3, hire you a business finance expert. Yes. Not your cousin who know how to balance their checkbook. Or Shamika across the corner who do everybody's taxes. No, find you a credible CPA, somebody that is skilled in business finance. Because I'm going to tell you like Luther said and set it off. It's 3 people you don't mess with. The I, the aura, and the S. That's just the reality. So you want to make sure that your business on the back end is as sexy as it is on the front end. That matters. That matters. You want to make sure that your P&L is there. You want to make sure that you've got the appropriate internal controls and governance. That's number 4. You want to make sure that how we spend, that we've got the appropriate measures and signature authorities. That stuff matters. And what I encourage you to do is that even if you were smaller in number right now, you get your plan in place so you're not playing catch up. That's the key. All right? And then lastly, I put it in there again. I must really mean this. Wow. Hire a business finance expert. Don't try to do this on your own. It is complicated. People will sue you. You can get fined. You can break regulatory laws unknowingly. Pay the money. If you're going to invest in anything, invest in that space. All right? So we're going to get ready for the panel. But here's the thing that I want to encourage to every black entrepreneur and those of you all that are working in companies that want to matriculate to executive levels, bring those questions and hopefully we can get to this on the panel. But for black business owners, I'm going to talk about, I'm from L.A. I'm from L.A. One of my favorite players, Kobe Bryant. That's just the bottom line. And there's an article by Bleacher Report in 2010 that said that Kobe Bryant, when he was developing his jumper, and my man had a cold jumper, he'd spend his off season making 2,000 shots a day. Yes. Not taking 2,000 shots a day, but making 2,000 shots a day. So what I would say to our business owners is that work, become excellent, become clear so that people want to pay for what it is that you do. All right? Go to my website. Check me out. I'm John Scott. Appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to Marty now.
Wonderful. Those are some amazing tips, Now, you just told all the secrets But they're not secrets. They're common knowledge. And listen, while you're online, if you have some business questions, let us know. We're going to read them out and definitely do that as well. But I want to introduce this amazing panel that's coming with us. Of course, you already saw John Henry Scott III, who is going to be with us. So, John Henry, if you take that first chair, that'll be absolutely amazing. We have none other than Mr. Justin Jerry from Self-Made. We're so glad to have him. Listen, when I get my next body in life, I'm going to be just like Justin here, coming here swole and everything. Then we have the author himself, none other than Dr. Brown from Joker to King. Yes, yes, yes. And he's coming up, too. He didn't even know it till just right now. We have that yoga dude because he's also a businessman as well. So listen, this has been absolutely amazing tonight because what we want to do is help empower you on how to become successful in your business journey as well. Because like I said, I was looking for a business coach. I really was. Brother Sly, I knew I had the passion for business. I knew I had the personality, but I didn't know all the things that he was talking about. I didn't know the making sure I had a good financial person and all that. And this brother vetted me. He didn't tell y'all the whole story. He thought that I was just some run-of-the-mill cat. Brother Sly, so he was when we met, he gave me the horrible time slot at 6 a.m. to do my session with him. 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Now, Justin, y'all, he up at the gym at 4. I'm still asleep at 4. But he gave me the 6 a.m. slot. That was to test to see if I was serious. I was up. I got up at 5 to make sure I had my shower. I put on my business shirt. I had my coffee. I had everything set up. I had my pen, my paper, my notebook. So when that Zoom thing, that ding, I said, "Good morning, Mr. Scott, how are you?" Because I showed up ready to work. And I always say it this way: successful people are working while everyone else is sleeping. Successful people are planning when everyone else is partying. Successful people are on the grind while everyone else is sitting down. There is a cost to be the boss, and we say that seriously. So let's walk through again. We already heard from I'm going to put that doctorate on you. I don't care whether you want it or not. Dr. John Henry Scott III. And we're going to have our panel come and introduce themselves, each one. Mr. Justin, share with us your business, what you're doing, and why you got into this thing of entrepreneurship.
My name is Justin Jerry. I'm the owner for Self-Made Training Facility in Redlands. It's a private training facility to where trainers bring in their clients, and they pay me to utilize my space.
Wait. They pay who? Who do they pay to utilize?
They pay me to utilize my space.
You saw the need.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
And I believe your question was,
what led you to become an entrepreneur, especially in this climate,
Sure.
where we know that most businesses fail within the first 3 years?
Absolutely. So Self-Made is actually a franchise, and looking with the space of working out, nutrition, health, that's the space that I love. They always talk about if you do what you love, you won't work a day in your life. And so I was searching, trying to find something that was conducive and aligned with who I was. Mm-hmm. I love working out. I love eating well. I love seeing those results from physical and the internal standpoint. And so finding Self-Made was something that was kind of heaven sent on that plane.
Yes. John Henry Scott, based upon what you lined out, did he do the job that you said in the first, finding that thing that you're good at, and then thing what other people can that want to pay into that as well?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right. You don't want them out of shape folk talking about, come on, I'm a trainer. And you're like, wait a minute. Can you first go be trained yourself and then come back and train me later? All right. Justin, we can find you in Redlands, right?
Yes, you can find me in Redlands, Self-Made Training Facility, 1380 Industrial Park Avenue.
Wonderful. We saw this gentleman on Monday night's opening of this when we dealt with stigmas. But so glad he's here again for his book, Joker to King. You gotta buy this. None other than Dr. Robert Brown. Dr. Brown, share with us your journey of becoming an entrepreneur. Especially, a lot of times we don't think that becoming an author is a journey and what that looks like.
That's a very good point. First and foremost, I thank you and I thank everybody up here because I got inspired. I mean, really inspired. I'm already seeing the next steps. That headline next year, I got you. I got it. But I'm first and foremost an educator. I've been in the classroom, well, I guess since 5 years old. When I was in kindergarten, I never left the classroom. So I've always been a teacher. I taught math, I taught English, I taught public speaking, I taught education courses, teaching future teachers. That's what I do. I'm a teacher. And so I never thought about business. You know, to me, my job is always going to be in the classroom. I'm always going to be employed by the state as a teacher. You know, and I'm a writer. I've always written short stories, poetry, that type of thing. And something happened, let's say 5.5 years ago. I published my first book. And that book was based on a very incredible story from my brother. You know, I gave him a gift, and he said, you need to share this with the rest of the world, and that gift turned into this book. Now, I'm recently starting to see how an author is an entrepreneur, because in this day and age, the publishing industry is dying, and writers need to find a way to keep themselves relevant, find a way to make book sales, find a way. And so in 2016, the book got a lot of notoriety. It was the most downloaded ebook on Amazon during Father's Day week. The most downloaded self-help book.
Yes. That's amazing.
And the most downloaded book in gender studies. Now, it's hard for a black man to get the most downloaded gender studies book.
Right.
And then 5 months later, it won the grand prize at the Southern California Book Festival.
Wow.
So the audience is telling me I have something here.
Right.
That's when the light bulb came on. What else can I do with this book?
Right.
You know, and now I'm starting to see Joker the King as a brand.
Yes. That's right.
You know, everything, not just the website and the blog, but a brand.
Right.
You know? Talking with Daryl also. Amazing producer, about ideas on, you know, this could actually be a podcast, a broadcast show.
Right.
Oh my God. You know, those kinds of things are happening now. So when we're talking about entrepreneurship, and I still am getting my feet wet, but I'm moving in that direction.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown is also, you know, I love what it ties in what John Henry Scott says. The thing you're good at, be so good at it till people want to hire you and pay money for it. So, Dr. Brown, y'all been hearing me for over a year talk about my book, Stop the Stinking Thinking. So he is editing it. So this is my editor of my book right now, too. And so this is, and then how do we keep black dollars recycling? We find people within our community. I found a business coach. I found a trainer. I'm gonna get back to my high school. I want no hard feelings either. And I found my editor, and then I also found my yoga coach here as well. So you pay people, so that's how we keep the dollars in our community to make sure that we are supporting black, and we have to be intentional also about how we support black businesses as well. Yes, James, that yoga dude, talk to me, my brother, because you was doing some stuff on Tuesday night.
Yes, so my entrepreneurial journey started out of emotional reaction. First, initially, I'm an author as well, so I understand the journey. I have 2 books. It's a book called Timmy Tut, and it is an emotional reaction to me knowing that I was going to leave the kids that I was working with. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to be there with them because I had to move on. I was getting more education and doing more things, and I didn't want to leave them behind, so I left behind these books. And Timmy Tut is a book series that we have where we're breaking down mental health and we're breaking down yoga skills for kids. So that was my first step into entrepreneurship. And like you, I didn't realize, I thought, hey, you get a book, you put it on Amazon, next day you're a millionaire. That wasn't it.
That's not it.
And as you also said, I was working in a nonprofit and they were telling me my value, but nonprofits don't have the money to pay you your real value. They always brought me in, all right, James is good with connecting with our black and brown boys. So we bring him in, and he does the therapy thing. He does the connection thing. They were telling me my value, but they always like, we don't have any money, we don't have anything. And then they started changing the systems, and I wasn't really aligning with the work and how I wanted to do the work. So I got mad, and I left. I quit. I got into yoga, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this yoga thing full on and just jump in. Somebody going to pay me to do some yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a plan. And it was an emotional reaction, and I thought that jumping into entrepreneurship was going to save me from doing all the stuff for the man, working and all this. I was going to find, but it brought me even more. It forced even more of me looking at my emotions, because this is a mental battle.
It is.
The entrepreneurship thing is a mental battle. Every day you got to look at yourself and see, how am I going to make this thing work?
Right.
I grew up, both my parents working 9 to 5s. My dad, he still worked at the post office. And we all know black community, that's a good job.
That's a good job. You get a good retirement
Good
job. You got
retirement job.
Yeah.
And my mama worked at the phone company. So
Two good retirement
solid,
jobs.
yeah. So you better keep that job. I went to school for it. I got degrees. Sally Mae, she's still bothering me about that money I owe her. But I had to go. In my heart, I was like, I can't do this no more. And I had to just jump off the porch, leap into the water, and do it and become an entrepreneur. And it really forced me, like I said, to look at myself and go through this journey and seek out help and seek out support and seek out other brothers on this journey, opportunities to keep it going and really develop who I am as a person. So I always like to say, if you're ready to be an entrepreneur, you got to be ready to get to know yourself on a level like never before.
That's good. This week I've been learning so much about you, my brother. I didn't know you was an author too. You know, that's good. That's good. But speak to that. Let's talk to that real quick about when you become this entrepreneur and you take this. I love how you said jump off the porch, you're in the high dive now, and you didn't realize when you're looking down, like that's a long way down. The mental battle and the mental anguish that you go through as an entrepreneur, what that all entails. Let's start with you, John Henry Scott, and let's go down the panel line again.
Yeah, it's absolutely real. You know, I started my business, I left corporate America March 2nd last year. I was very grateful. I got a beautiful, beautiful severance package, paid my mortgage up for the rest of the year, so I didn't have to worry about that. Let my severance go. I went on vacation. I went hiking. I drank coffee. I visited my members. I slept late. I ran. I bought a Peloton. I did all these wonderful, glorious things, and then I went back to work 6 weeks later. After that 6 weeks later, I was in there, and it was the weirdest thing because I experienced tremendous success. I exceeded my revenue target because, remember, you got to know where you're going. I exceeded my revenue target last year by $161,000.
Wow.
In the first 5 months of doing business. And I didn't have no weak play revenue target either. And even in the middle of all that, I thought about for a moment going back into corporate America because I was used to that rhythm. And then now when you got to pay your own medical insurance.
Right.
And you get that bill and it's like $2,000, you be like, oh, yo. And you be like, yeah, I'm getting these invoices, but then now this is an expense, this is an expense, this is an expense. And so after my expenses, I'm looking like, oh, yeah, I was better off when I was over here, even though having exceeded revenue targets. And so the thing that kept me is I knew my why, but then I also had a solid strategy. That's the key. When you're drowning, it's better if you can see something you can grab on to help you from drowning, to prevent you from drowning. Your strategy does that.
Yes.
So I had a strategy, and it was strong, and I still have moments where I felt like, okay, this is becoming a little overwhelming.
And that's such the normal beat when you're in business and the buck stops with you.
Yeah.
So Justin, talk to us also about the mental anguish and the back and forth that you go through as a business owner.
Absolutely. I mean, just even from you spoke about imposter syndrome and things like that. Just imposter syndrome. There's 27 different franchises. So from a social media standpoint of what we do, social media is huge. Trying to appeal to the masses is a very it's a negative it's a negative word, but from a narcissistic standpoint, working out and looking good is something that's big. So does your facility look right? Is your facility moving the way that it should move? Comparing yourself. And so you deal with that mental thing every day. So for me, I had to lock in what was best for our facility. What's best for our trainers? How do we market them the best way? We're not in Orange County. We're not self-made Orange County by the water. We're in Redlands. So what's the best for that? So you deal with these mental ups and downs of trying to figure out exactly what is best for your facility and not having to compare yourself to those next to you. So,
And I love it because what you did, you discovered the differentiator that made you, don't play with me, I'm a good student, that excelled your business and made you different and more palatable considering the region. Because often we have to consider our clients and the regions that we serve. So I love what you said. What might have been well for you in Orange County did not work, but you're not in Orange County. You're in Redlands. What might have worked in Redlands may not work in Compton. What might not work in Compton may not work over in Baldwin Hill. You know, all of those things. So Dr. Brown, talk to us some more about that.
I just want to, I'm so proud. Go ahead.
You should be. You got that influence right there.
But iron sharpens iron.
That's exactly right.
Where I can glean from what you're doing. I can glean from what you're doing. I can glean from and know that we're not in competition at all. We are not. In fact, we want to learn from each other. So we're going to create this Black Man Business Think Tank. You heard it. We are going to be creating a Black Man Business think tank where we can come together in safety and in this secure environment so that we can think together to help grow and expand so we can know how to market it better, so we know how to build it better, so we know how to get this collective resources again. Dr. Brown, talk to me.
I will tell you that mental anguish is a real thing. There is nothing more anxiety-ridden than staring at a blank paper telling yourself you got to write a book. That's a very difficult, long-term thing. One writer said many years ago, he said, this is how you write. You stare at the blank page until drops of blood form on your forehead. And that's what it feels like. Now, once I had this book, I knew I don't know anything about marketing. And so one of the things I did was I went to a marketing consultant for publishers, for authors, for self-publishers and all that type of thing. And he teaches people how to market your stuff. And I remember talking with him. He said, tell me about your book. Well, my book is called Joker the King. Oh, yeah, who's your book for? Who's your target audience? Well, I'm writing for young men. I'm writing a book for young men to teach them how to have a healthy masculinity. So, okay. And you really have faith in your book, Robert? Yes, I got faith. Okay. You know you are writing a book for the exact demographic that does not buy books.
That's good. Right.
And so we started talking about the industry. He says, you know who buys books? White women. They buy romance novels. You are writing a book for the exact demographic that does not buy. College students, Black male college students who think they need to learn from you what it means to be a man, they're not going to buy your book.
Wow.
So now, so now I'm going through this other mental anguish, you know, because I went all this way. It took me about 2.5 years to finish 350 pages of this book. I finished this book, got a beautiful designer to create the cover.
Right.
The whole thing is done. And now this guy is saying nobody's going to buy that book.
Right. I keep going.
One of the things that helped me get through this is having faith in myself and knowing that I have something that's worth something that nobody else has done before,
Yes.
right? And believing that I have not just value
Right.
in this book, but value in myself. Because
Yes.
I'm going to be the one, this guy who I paid money to work with
Yes, yes.
is telling me that I cannot sell this book.
Yes.
So I have to have more faith than the guy who is going to be marketing. I had to come up from the depths of my mental anguish to find a way to share this message with other people,
Yeah.
and it worked.
Right.
And there's one thing that I got to say that he was right about. The people who made my book #1 that summer in 2016
right.
were women.
Mm.
They
But-
bought into the message and started giving the book to their sons,
Yes.
started giving the book to their husbands, and started giving the book to their uncles and their cousins and all those folks and their brothers. And I realized, you know what? The message still needs to get out there. The message is good.
Yes.
People are hearing the message.
Yes.
I just had to have faith that what I was doing was the right journey.
You're
Does
right.
that make sense?
Look, I just got a text from my aunt says, "Get the book. I'll cash it if you want to get home for her grandson."
There you go.
You're right. It doesn't matter how they get it, just long as they get it. You brought something key that I want us to all just kind of popcorn around to and talk about. Where do we find the strength when everyone else says no, and everyone else, all the odds are stacked against you? But I love what you said. You believe in yourself. But where do we continue to get the fight and the press? Because most of us are self funded.
Sure.
Yeah, we can't go to the bank because most of the banks, historically, we already know that banks have denied us. And the ratings and the credentials in which they approve different loans are very different for people and men who look like us than our Caucasian counterparts. So how do we get the gumption and the unction to keep going? James, and then we're going to go ahead.
Well, no.
Dr. Brown.
I was just going to
Yeah,
tell
please.
you where mine comes
Yes.
from. It's funny, when we were listening to John Henry speak earlier,
Right.
and he talked about how a dream unattended becomes a nightmare. I had a dream of doing something else 22 years ago. I wanted to start my own tutoring business.
Uh-huh.
I left that thing unattended and it died.
Mm.
The difference now with Joker the King is I felt like I gave birth to something. And I'm a father. My 2 boys are right there in the back, soaking up all this wisdom from these men on this panel here. I felt like I gave birth to something with this Joker the King. Just like I have these 2 boys, I have to see this thing through. I wanted to give up. I wanted to, that guy was right. I'm not gonna sell any books.
Wow.
And I wanted to give up, but then I realized I would not do that to my sons.
Love that.
I'm the father of these. I'm not gonna give up on these boys. I'm gonna do whatever I can to see them thrive, and that kicked in something.
That's good. That's
Right.
good. James, talk to us. That's good right there.
Real good.
For the future.
For the future. A couple of points. Yeah, so I'm that yoga dude because whenever I'm going on campuses, I work primarily in schools. The kids don't remember my name, but they remember, hey, it's that yoga dude right there.
Uh-huh.
So being able to really connect with the kids and connect with the future. And so for me, it was as you said, it was a birthing process as well, because initially doing the other stuff, doing a whole bunch of other things, they was hustles. And you'll quit on the hustle, but you can't quit on your purpose.
Wait.
like-
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
You'll quit on the hustle. You'll switch your hustles. You got to switch your hustles up.
Right.
But your purpose, it's going to
That's
call you
good.
every day.
That's good.
Your purpose is going to wake you up. Your purpose is going to make you. And so knowing the connection that I had with the people who I served, as you talked about, the solutions that I was providing, seeing how it shaped my life and other people's lives, it just kept calling me and calling me and calling me. And it's something that I want to continue to craft. It's something that I want to continue to develop. And I see it not just as, oh, man, this is just another little hustle to make some money and stuff.
Right.
Black is the wave right now.
Right.
So I'm like, no, this is real life.
Yes.
This is my baby. This is who I am. And just looking at it throughout the years, of like, I wrote the book, Timmy Tutt, www.timmytut.com. And that was for the same folks, and the work that I've been continuing to do for the same folks. And I get interested in different things, you know. As yoga, I am a self-care strategist, so I'm helping people with their self-care. But then it always comes back to the certain people that I'm working with, and that call just keeps pulling me back and pulling me back and developing me. So when I just feel that call to give and to serve, I know this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm supposed to do. And that's how it pulls me through the mental anguish of, man, this person doing that and that person doing that. I got to do a TikTok dance now, too. I got to do all this kind of crazy stuff. I don't want to do that. And then it just becomes, I'm even willing to develop a strategy to get past this. Because like I said, I jumped out on emotion. That's not a strategy.
Right.
Being able to sit and strategize. And I know for me, a lot of other brothers I know, we was so good at stuff, and stuff just came naturally to us. I don't need no strategy. I'm just keep doing this. I'm gonna just keep doing that. And you gotta switch that mentality from just straight being a hustler to being a strategist. To having the thought, to looking 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line.
Come on, strategic plan.
And you need that confidence to do that, to see what you're gonna look like 10 years, 5 years down the line, because you gotta see, okay, I have to put myself in that future position. I have to see myself growing and developing in that way. And sometimes it's hard to see that when you're trying to pay this bill that's right there.
Yes, right.
So it's that headline. You have to believe in yourself so much to connect with that headline to your right now. So you writing that headline every day, even when the bills are there, even when you can't go on those vacations, you can't buy the shoes you want, you can't drive the car that you want. But you know that purpose is more important than that hustle, and you just keep going with it on an everyday basis.
Love that. Justin, talk to me, Justin. That's good.
I love that strategy. One big thing that for me, I heard Gary Vee say it one time: spend an hour a day with a millionaire. Not too many of us may not know millionaires. He said, you know a millionaire. You get on YouTube and you find a millionaire. And so you listen to the Eric Thomases of the world, you listen to the Ed Milet's of the world, you listen to these different people. So for me, it's a constant thing of, man, maybe I'm failing in this area, but being able to hear that failure story, but then that redemption story. So for me, it's a constant routine. My wife and I have a constant routine of always listening to some type of podcast, some type of person that has overcome, even if I can't afford the business coach right now, or even if I can't talk to a millionaire physically. Hearing those different strategies for me is something that's always allowed me to push forward, even in those bleak times, taking that next step by listening and hearing those. So that's a big thing.
Yeah. I love what you said with that. You did not allow possibly the lack of what we would say resources to stop you from getting the necessary help, what you needed for that time. Dr. Don Henry, talk to us.
Yeah, no, I agree. But what I will add to that is that community matters. So being able to understand that you are not alone in this endeavor certainly matters. And so there's strength in numbers. And so the fact that we are able, as for entrepreneurs or for folks with businesses, or whether you're in a corporate setting and you may be only one of two, being able to connect and being able to create synergistic conversations and exhale, what's inside of you. Those things certainly matter. There's therapy in that. It's therapeutic being able to just be like, yo, man, this is where I'm at, but not necessarily from an aspect of exhaustion, but even about the curious ideas that you have, So who are you sharing your ideas with? Who are you bouncing these things against? I don't want to become a trash can, so I encourage my clients all the time, don't turn your company into a trash can.
That's good.
And I encourage my friends, don't turn me into a trash can if the only thing you talking about your business is when it's trash and you struggling, because I'm struggling too. We need some hope in here. But the premise is that community certainly matters. We are better together. And so finding like-minded individuals that you can talk to, it certainly matters, because Gary Vee go talk to us, but we probably can't talk back to him, So I don't think it's a dichotomy of either or. We need both. There's this scripture that says, Follow those who through faith and patience have obtained the promise. So mentorship matters. Mentorship matters. And there can be direct mentorship and it can be indirect mentorship. I've got indirect mentors that are very effective. I watch them. I read what they do. I sow into their life. I speak over. I support them in different things like that as well.
Excellent, excellent. Having businesses can be very tough and difficult. What would you say, and let's go back down the line with this, if you could do over again, what's one thing that you would do over again and advise other black men that were desiring to start a business not to repeat one lesson that you have done? John Henry Scott, we're going to walk right down the line.
Yeah, me personally, I would have started sooner. I stayed too long, you know.
Right.
I would have started sooner.
And what prevented you then, would you say, that kept you where you were at longer than you wanted to stay?
I was making a whole lot of money, and that's just the reality. Yeah. That check was glorious and beautiful and wonderful, and I did not know if this would stick. And that's just it. So that's what I would have done. I would have left early. I would have left 7 months before I actually did.
For that person that is where you are at, and not sure, because I know what this check is guaranteed, because that's been most of our challenge. I know the guaranteed check, but stepping out, like you said, you got the tooth, you got a family, you got $2,000 a month just because to insure them. What advice and how what do you give them in that? Because there's this back and forth that you go, and now you're playing with my mind, and I don't want to. And for a lot of us as men, we have major fear of failure.
Yeah.
Yes, fear of failure. What do you tell that black man?
Yeah, plan your way out. That's what I would say. Plan your way out. Lower your expenses, save your money, depending on where your area of concern is.
Right.
Is you plan your way there. And for me, it's not like I was go struggle. You know, I was just accustomed to, hey y'all, daddy go be in LA for 2 weeks. I'm flying everybody out to meet me for 1 week. Y'all gonna miss 2 days of school. And I like the fact of being able to do that. And I didn't know if, as an entrepreneur coming out of the gate, I would be able to do that right away. And so I would tell people, plan your way out. Make sure you save your money, pay your mortgage up, your rent, whatever you got. Get you about 6 months to a year savings, and develop the discipline of being a saver and not a spender. Because if you save your money, but then you didn't change your mind and you go spend it, you go be looking for a job in 3 weeks.
Right.
So plan your way out is what I would say.
Excellent. Thank you. Good advice. Justin, what would you have done differently, and what would you tell black men who desire to start a business, or maybe they're even in their business right now and struggling?
I start off like John Henry talked about, just basically staying lean in a sense of like cutting costs. So I wanted to do everything. I wanted to control the social media. I wanted to control the recruitment standpoint. I wanted to control the operations management portion standpoint. I wanted to control the community engagement and facility engagement. But I had to relinquish some control. I was trying to clean bathrooms at the same time, make sure that I posted enough about our next trainer. What I had to do is basically recognize what it is that we needed to relinquish, and I had to relinquish the social media, because social media was horrible. That's not my strong suit, and I had to recognize that. And so it was like, this is bad. And our engagement, as I hired somebody, our engagement went up, which brought more people in, which brought them more clientele, which made our trainers stay longer. So being able to identify what you're not good at, and being able to relinquish that control there.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Brown.
Well, like I said earlier, I'm at the beginning stages.
That's all right.
So hopefully everybody can learn with me as I learn. But I'm going to echo John Henry. I couldn't have said it better. Start early. I had this idea for Joker the King to be something more than just a book years back. But I didn't do anything about it years back. And now I'm thinking, if I would have done something about it then, I would have accrued a following. I could have had all of
Right,
these
right.
other things now and been 4 years ahead. But, fear is a big part of it, But start now. Start yesterday.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yes.
It's very fascinating because I was coaching you while I was still fully employed.
You were,
right?
yes.
So you can do both at the same time.
That's good.
The key, there's this principle that I live by called manifested momentum. And that is when you get started, then the momentum builds up, right? So that baby starts growing when you give birth to it. When the seed is released and the sperma comes in contact with the egg, conception takes place. And so you can initiate conception even while you're in your current state.
That's good. That's good. Look, yeah. Initiate. So we're going to challenge you. Start initiating conception. Do the work. We don't mind doing the work. Come on. That yoga dude, talk to us. What would you have done differently?
Invest in myself. So from 5 years old all the way up till college, graduate school, I've been trained and taught and conditioned to be an employee. So then stepping into the world of entrepreneurship and being my own boss, I'm thinking I'm running like I was an employee. Hey, I'm still gonna work these 9 to 5 hours and I'm gonna still do it like this. This is how I'm gonna operate. So start investing in yourself, like we said now. Start listening to the people on YouTube who are entrepreneurs. Take advice from other entrepreneurs. You ain't gotta take it all, but right. Invest in changing your mindset to start to see yourself as your own boss, as a producer, not just a consumer. As someone who's going to be placing products and services in the marketplace, not just always looking for the marketplace to feed you. So invest in yourself. Read a book, an entrepreneur, your E.T., Tony Robbins, whoever out there that you into. Listen to them on a daily basis to start to get your mind to look at finances differently, look at relationship differently, networking, resources. Go to where entrepreneurs are. Because I don't want you to just have to feel like you have to leave a job,
right?
But be done with the job. You finished and completed your assignment there, and now you can mentally and physically and emotionally move on to your next assignment that's going to take you to a whole nother level. So invest in yourself and be done.
Please.
Can I say something? I want to add to that because that's so true.
Yes.
90% of the content that I use in my business, I built while I was in corporate America.
Right.
I built flying from South Africa to Brazil, from Brazil to China, from China to Japan, from Japan to Australia, from Australia to Mexico, Mexico to Colombia, Colombia to Watts.
Right.
So I built it while I was still working in corporate America, and then I brought it there, and then I perfected my craft. The presentation that you all saw today, I put that together today, right? Because it's content that I built over the years.
Right.
And so the point that I'm making is that you can start right where you are right now.
Yes.
And then you just know that I own this.
Right.
We didn't talk about ownership.
Ownership.
But that
and
matters.
Intellectual property.
Come on.
Yes.
It matters.
It does matter.
It certainly matters. I almost wanted to tell Doctor, the coach in me jumped up when you were saying, I was like, shh. This on the internet. This on the internet.
Your intellectual property. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Call me, Doc. Call me.
Listen, we are changing lives because it's about ownership. Yes, it is. How do we change? I'm going to throw this out to it because you keep bringing up some good, but how do we change our minds from being, because it's a different mindset when you are an employee versus being the employer.
Can I flip that question around?
Flip it.
I want to ask you, sir. How did you experience that paradigm?
Wow.
From being part of the team to being the leader of the team. You're a CEO running a multi-million-dollar company right now. How'd you experience that shift over the last 12 months?
I know. No. It's a very difficult transition, and I made a ton of mistakes along the way. And I can relate to everything that each one of you said, because a lot of it I played with my own psyche, played with my own self-esteem, played with my own failure. When I flew to see John Henry in Atlanta when he did this pop-up, because I was serious. I made the decision I'm going to take time to invest in myself. I didn't care what it took. I didn't care what it cost or anything, because those things that we desire, we will find a way to fund it. Whatever we find value in, we will find a way through rook, through crook. We'll pay Peter to pay Paul. We'll pay half of the car note and half of the insurance, because I needed to be there to get in the presence of that. And I remember something you said. You made all of us come up here, do a elevator talk, pitch. You had, I think you gave us 90 seconds to run time to get your elevator pitch. And we had to say this elevator pitch at the beginning of the start of the pop-up, and then if we wanted to keep it, we could change it at the end. And then you ask us, what do you desire when you leave here? It was a life-changing moment for me. I said, I want to desire how to become a CEO. And then that was the best spiritual business meeting I ever been to. Brother Sly almost tore up the man's church and knocked down chairs. I had to contain myself because the Holy Ghost came in there. That's a whole other thing. But then he said something very prophetic to me. See, y'all made me switch into prophecy. And he said, stop saying that you're not who God has already created you to be. And that was a paradigm shift in me to make sure that I had to stop saying I want to be an effective CEO to start saying I am an effective CEO. And so that was a shift that I went from being an employee to becoming an employer with us. And so it begins, we have to do the dirty work within ourselves and realize that if I'm here, that I'm meant to be here, because if anyone could be here, then everyone would be doing it. Because everyone's not here, then I'm called for this season, for this time. Yes. So let's throw it back out. How do we shift? What's the shift like for you, Justin, in being from just an employee to now you're an employer, that people are now coming to you saying, I want to use your facilities, and here's my check?
Absolutely. I think from a standpoint of just leadership, I've always done that. From sports and basketball, from being a manager at one of the biggest healthcare systems here in Southern California, but at the same time being the owner for this facility,
right.
There was a shift for me, and I think words are very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you just said, I mean, I spoke about it on your podcast
yes.
as well. Kind of morbid, but at the same time, it drives home the point. Trace McGrady spoke about him talking to Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant talked about how he wanted to, unfortunately, die young because he wanted to be immortalized. Mm-hmm. Those words that we speak are powerful. It drives towards exactly what can happen, what we can be. So those words are huge.
Yes.
So for me, even my wife, we had our business meeting. It was like, babe, you know, what are you going to earn this year? Mm-hmm. It's like $10,000 a month by April. Okay, cool. But we need to speak that. We need to write that. That's what we constantly do. We speak it and we write it, and that's what we are. So that shift happened for me once my speech changed.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Wow, can you believe that we are running out of time? This, we got to have a part 2 of this so we can continue, because this has been powerful. I hope that you have enjoyed not only this week, but tonight's what we have been doing, talking about black business and ownership. So let's go back to the panel real quick. Give us 30 seconds of your pitch, and how do we get a hold of you, That Yoga Dude?
You can get a hold of me at thatyogadude.com/thehard-assessment. I know we have it back there still. If you could post it up there, the H-A-R-D assessment. So brothers, go ahead and take this assessment. It gives you an idea of where you are, so you can start your self-care journey. Also, we got our book, www.timmytuck.com. It is designed for 3rd grade all the way up until your parents. How to incorporate yoga, how to incorporate mental health, how to incorporate these wellness skills into our boys, because we all know the education system is not always the place to really develop personal skills to grow. So timmytut.com and theheartassessment.yogadoo.com. Thank you.
Wonderful. We're going to do a book tour together, all three of us. Yes, yes. Dr. Brown.
I have cornered the market on Robert Dalen Brown. You type my name in anywhere in the internet, you will see me. So Robert Dalen Brown. Dalen is Daylin. RobertDalenBrown.com or JokerTheKing.com.
That's right. Show us your book.
Yeah, it looks like this. So
Yes.
JokerToKing.com. Also, my wife and I are about to launch a new business this year. We are determined. I might have to talk to you, Mr. Scott, because we have been putting it off and delaying it just a little bit, but we're ready now. We're ready now, and that's going to be Brown and Gray.
Right.
BrownandGray.com.
Love it, love it. Thank you so much. Come on, Justin.
Justin at selfmadetrainingfacility.com. Also, our Instagram page, which is huge as far as our industry goes. Self-Made Training Facility, RDS. You can look us up there, follow us there. Send us a DM, send us an email, and we'll get back to you within the hour during business hours.
Excellent, excellent. Come on, let's hear it for this panel. Dr. Scott, come on up here with me. Yeah. John Henry, as we close this. We are so excited. Man, have we had a week or what?
Wait, I want the people to know how to get
in touch with me. I'm going to get you too, but how do we get a hold of it?
I got a hold. I'm a panelist tonight.
As a panelist, how do we get a hold of you?
There we go. You go to our website, www.chartthe2heart.com. And tonight, what we're doing at my company is I'm giving away 5 one-hour coaching sessions.
Wait.
5 1-hour coaching sessions.
That's a $250 an hour.
No, that's a $350.
Oh, I'm sorry, $350. Yes. Oh, yes. It was $350. Yes. I'm so glad I got in on the early stage. I'm giving away 5 1-hour coaching sessions. Wow.
So if you go to my website and go to the contact, connect at chartthe2heart.com. Let me know a little bit about you, about your business, about what you want to do.
Wow.
And you may be one of those 5.
One of those 5.
There we go. Or you can check me out on LinkedIn, John Henry Scott III.
Love it, love it. We've had some amazing.
Yeah.
This has been a week.
It's been amazing.
This has been an amazing, amazing week. This is just the beginning. We're having lunch today, and we were talking about how do we keep this momentum going. So this is not a one and done event that we have been doing here with the Black Man Made Well. We are going to be continuing this at least every month. You're going to see something that comes out from the Black Man Made Well. Yeah. But we want you to also check out my YouTube channel, Mental Health Marty. YouTube, Mental Health Marty on the YouTube, and mentalhealthmarty.com, where you can find this amazing The Black Man Made Well t-shirt. Those of you here tonight, you can purchase one for a small fee, and I do take Cash App and all that. As well, you can get Dr. Robert Brown's book, Joker to King. We want to make sure that black men are, what was our purposes, our 3 tenets?
Empower, equip, and educate.
That's right.
Can we thank our sponsors again?
Yes, we got to definitely thank our sponsors, Riverside University Health Systems, for being our major donor. We want to thank Marcel Consulting for that, and we also want to thank African American Health Coalition as well. They have been our major sponsors with that, and we are so grateful for them for supporting this, financial support doing this. Listen, we did this in a relatively short amount of time, but listen, you have gotten over $50,000 worth of intellectual property and services that have been given to you for free, because these gentlemen could go to any major conference across this country and charge people $10,000 for the information that you have gotten for free. Just because it's free does not mean that it has not there's not value added to it. And the only reason we can do this is because of the financial sponsors and the financial people who have backed this up. And so we don't want this to end. You will definitely be hearing more about this from us in the near future.
Absolutely, and we just want to put it out there right now.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Tune in to the Black Man Made Well YouTube channel. Set your notifications.
Yes.
We're going to be bringing some content to you over the coming months. And in June,
yes,
we have the Young Man Made Well. And so you're going to hear more about that in the future.
Yes,
There
yes.
you go, man. This is
Wow.
done.
We
What
are
a great week.
What an amazing week.
What a
Please
great
share
week.
this with us. But as I always say, we don't want you to continue to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want you to speak up, speak out, and live. Thank you.
Peace
God
out,
bless.
everybody.
We'll see you next time.